Welcome to the Trail Chasers podcast. I'm your host, Dean Horwitz, and I'm excited to share this journey with you. Each week, we'll be hitting the trails with some of South Africa's most inspiring trail runners, diving into the topics that matter most and uncovering the secrets of this incredible sport. Lace up your trail shoes and join me on this adventure. New episodes every week. All right, let's do this. So, Chantel, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. And thanks for joining me. When I guess you did 3 peaks, when you're kind of standing on that start line, what do you have, like any pre-race kind of rituals, anything that kind of gets you focused, or is it kind of you wait for the gun to go and then you kind of get into it?
I've been competing for 12 years. I've done more than like 200 races. So I've had a journey as far as that very question goes. And this particular 3 peaks, it would be on the spectrum. It would be one thing of what I used to do and a completely different thing of what I did this last Saturday. And I think it's actually a great journey that I've followed. And if I were to, I'm going to have to put it this way. If I learned to try to let go and let God, basically. In the past, I used to arrive at my races, obviously super focused, but also I think what made a difference is I was sponsored. There's a lot of pressure, if you're a sponsored athlete, as I'm sure you're expected to perform and to deliver. And so it's not really optional of like, oh, well, let's just have a good run and hope it pans out. You definitely come fully, as prepared as what you can. And so in the past, I think what would happen is, yes, you obviously prepare for your race, you train hard, you arrive. I inevitably always arrive an hour early. I'm always there. As I was this last Saturday, I got up at 2 a.m. Sure. I was in Cape Town. I had breakfast at 2:30, wow. But I'm okay with that. We were in Cape Town at 4:30. We were there before they were even opening the doors of the Nerve Street Hotel. But that is me. So that is one of my 100%, 1,000% rituals is I don't think I've ever arrived late for a race. Okay. I'm usually an hour early because I have my little bits and pieces. Oh, anyone that runs with me would know I take very long to get myself organized. So that's all besides that. But usually I'd have all my warm-up drills, and you'd be very pumped up before you get going. And that has been me in the past because when the gun goes, embarrassingly, I've got pictures of when I did African X years ago. I was running out of the chute ahead of people like AJ Carlitz and people. I would be the first person. I would so put the hammer down for the word get go. As my journey has progressed, and obviously I guess as I've gotten older, you wasn't up. So fortunately, this last Saturday, I definitely hadn't put the training I should have put in for the race. So it was just a miracle I was there. And I think that for any athlete, an absolute wake-up call in life is if you've been injured. And if, or whatever reason that you haven't been able to run. And this when I did 3 peaks, I'm just so grateful to be able to run. It was a blessing, a privilege, and an honor. And that I'm going to be approaching my races going forward. So often I think especially as you're younger, you rely on your body just bouncing back and just being able to run. And as I did in the past, you arrive and you expect to perform, you expect to be that person. And then inevitably, obviously, races, as many of them in the past have not worked out, and you are gutted, you are devastated, it's earth-shattering. But now I've just realized, while I was actually on the mountains, I looked and I saw the scenery. I saw the little pincushion proteas. I actually looked out at the mountains, and I just kept thinking, I'm so privileged and I'm so lucky to be here. I mean, I remember years ago, I've done Otter Trail twice. Okay. And on both of them, I was sponsored to do them. So now you've been paid to go there. Your entry's paid, In the time period that I did Otter and those both, so I've never actually hiked Otter Trail. And obviously everyone tells me how gorgeous it is. I looked up, I think, twice. Because you're so focused on the trail and so focused on operating and performing, you literally, it's so sad, but I've never actually done Otter. I've never looked and seen the scenery. So that's probably my journey, that as I've gotten as I said, older now maybe, and just because I had this long period of being removed from the mountains, I definitely going forward with any race that I will do. So that's why, sorry, to swing all the way back to your very original question, is my little race rituals have been tossed completely out of the window.
Amazing.
And, it was such a good thing on Saturday, because when I started running, you're obviously running through gardens and you're running through town and everyone's sort of together. And many of the people that I know locally from Study Shake It or something are running past me. Sorry, I suppose, I'm sure you know, like from egos, you wouldn't normally allow that. You'd like definitely be performing in the front there and thinking, oh, flip, no, this is like best you get focused now. And I was like, hey, whatever, it's fine. And I just went at my own little diesel pace. And I actually said to my husband, what was so beneficial for me is, you learn as the years progress. In the past, I remember doing Half Bay Challenge, and Linda Doak and I had raced against each other for years.
Yeah.
And the one year I don't know if it was SA Champs. I can't recall, but it was so frustrating for me as an athlete. I was racing hard and pushing because I needed to podium because I wanted to do it. I think we were going to France. I can't remember. I'd overtake Linda, and then she just popped out ahead of me. What the hell's that happening? And then I run again, and then I know for a fact I've overtaken her, and she'd be ahead of me again. No flipping way. It happened 3 times in one race. It killed me. So this on Saturday, it was so funny how the full circle goes round. So now I'm jogging, and Linda comes past, and I thought, no problem. I didn't care. I'm running my own race. I don't care where I land on the field. And, it's that local knowledge, and it's almost that. So I don't know if it's called I don't know if it's a shortcut, but hey, who knows? I followed her. I did not even look at my watch. I thought, I know, Chantel, this has happened. Just follow Linda.
Yeah.
I did. And we actually popped ahead of all the people that overtook me.
Amazing.
It was just so nice because I've just learned to let go, and not in the past, I would have never ever done that. I would have been the person in the front, and I would have maybe done the longer route. I don't know what it was, but these things I guess happen, and it's, I don't know if you'd call it experience or just getting old. But I've learned to just embrace things and to just give it a chance, and it seems to work its way out. Yeah.
Amazing. We should talk about the elephant in the room. Tell me about the hot pants.
So funny that you mentioned that, because for me, it's like so much of almost a no-brainer that so to be honest with you, Dean, I don't almost even notice I'm wearing them. Well, obviously I don't. I mean, nobody when you're running thinking about the tie you're wearing, obviously you're not thinking, oh, what did I put a blue shirt on today? Yeah. So while I'm running, I obviously I'm not conscious of what I'm wearing. Sure, that's had a long road with me. Even on Saturday, when you mentioned like the hot pants thing, is I'll be going up Platteklip Gorge for argument's sake. And I've done Platteklip Challenge for many, many years now. And because it's so recognizable, it's so nice for me because people, when I go past them, they aren't even participating in 3 peaks. They'll just happen to be maybe hiking along doing Platteklip Gorge. But if I went past them in like a regular sort of 3/4 black pair of pants, they would not know. Obviously, you don't notice who's coming past your Platteklip. Yeah. But then they'll say, oh, we must do this here at Platteklip. Where were you? And the amounts of, I don't run in Cape Town as much as I used to, but wow, the community definitely, like, as you're coming past, they're going, go hot pants, whatever. So it's been years. My husband was actually the one that initially initiated that whole process. I was not keen to wear the hot pants. Like, if you were to ask any woman, come home with a little item like that and say to them, would you like to step into shooting this outfit? And my very first pair of hot pants, at the back of it, in black glitter, it said no chance. Like, no chance. Like, now you're going to step into a shoot with like a flipping bullseye on your bum and tell your fellow athletes, I'm taking it down, and like there's no chance you're beating me. Like that's obviously arrogance of note. So I remember the very first time I wore those, and well, I just about killed myself winning that race. And actually the second time I ever wore them was when I did Otter. Oh, wow. And funny enough, what actually happened, with this whole hot pants journey, the founders of the Sabrina Love charity in Plettenberg Bay, Susie and Tony Lubner. They were in a helicopter and they were flying up and down the coastline, watching the Otter Trail panning out, watching the athletes again. And they saw this person running around. This is the only second time I've ever worn these pants in my little pink pants. And obviously you stand out. But I mean, I didn't know they didn't know who I was, what. And completed Otter. And then later on in the year, because that's obviously October, in December, I went and did the Sabrina Love race. And my husband's disabled. So I went to them afterwards and I said, not to them. I went to the stall or the stand and I was just chatting to one of the shop people and I was asking for something for my husband. And then Susie actually came up to me and she said, were you running Otter in those pink pants? And I said, yeah. And I actually, and that initiated the conversation. Anyway, I became one of the ambassadors for like 10 years.
Sure.
Because obviously I'm very passionate about that particular cause. So, you know, I've got a massive amount of onslaught in the past due to the hot pants. And people very, very often think I'm such an exhibitionist. They... even within this week, I was raising money for a cause by doing 3 peaks. And a lot of my clients, I'm a personal trainer, and my clients are generally predominantly like 50, 60 plus. You know, they're like golfers. They're here in Stellenbosch and the Zolza, and they're not on social media. So they don't necessarily know. They only know me as if I call it a normal person that arrives in my long little black pants and, you know, trains them as a normal trainer would. So some of them are not aware of the hot pants vibe. And then I had to ask some of them, would you mind supporting me? But then on the picture, on my little back a buddy thing, here I am in my hot pants hanging from a mast. And then afterwards, I sent them a little feedback thing saying, thanks so much. And they saw me on like Lion's Head in the pink pants. And those are like my racing pants. And then the one lady said to me, I saw her this week and she goes, sure, Chantel, they're like really small. They're like even smaller than a bikini. Yeah. She said, like, and I said, no, they're not actually that small. And she said, but are they comfortable? And I said, you won't believe it. Like, they're actually the most comfortable because I throw water over my head. And then obviously, you know, I said to her, if I was wearing long pants, my pants would be like heavy and you start chafing and I said, but it's your skin, so you don't chafe, and it's like swimming, and it's like great. I've raced in so many items, and this is the winner one.
Amazing.
So yes, that is I've had some positives and negatives due to that little hot pants vibe.
And when you kind of reflect back on your running career, what have been the kind of the standout moments? So
I think if you reflect back, you can always think of accomplishments and things, but I've, for many years, if I were to think of the crucial key thing that was very, very important for me as an athlete, certainly for the last decade, is I never knew that you could use your physical ability or your running ability to make a difference in the world. And after that Otter thing, this is how the hot pants, how the journey goes. So I completed that race, and the one photographer, Andrew King, you know, the photographer at the race, and he contacted me like probably in about, I can't remember, like a month later after Otter. I don't know who this guy is. And he says to me, no, they're doing this charity run they're doing the Off-Roads Comrades. They're running from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, but like the Duty route, it's 120 or 112 Ks or something, but it's like a very much, you have to be invited. They've got this thing called the Mama Luma crowd, and there's only like 10 of them. And he's willing to, but basically you have to bring people that are totally left-wing, like upstream swimmers. It's not like you can't pay to enter this thing. You have to be invited, okay? And he's willing to invite me, but he basically lets me know that Chantel, like, don't embarrass me. So you need to be able to actually run like 112 Ks. But the only reason I can come and do this event is if I wear the hot pants. So I'm like, okay, cool, Andrew. Okay, that's fine. So now this is back in the day. This is like, I can't even remember. It definitely was like 12 years ago. So you must remember social media was very low key. It wasn't like the way things are now. And so everyone's still working on emails and stuff. Anyway, I started like trying to read up on these or figure out who these people are. Well, it was probably I've been trying to decide about doing this one tattoo on my arm, and it would be with all the different key races, like with the coordinates. It's called the Valley Run. It would 100% be one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Wow.
So now I'm again arriving as an athlete thinking, oh, geez, I'm sponsored by Hammer at that stage. I've got all my Hammer nutrition that I've got, like, you know, I'm like and I've never run 112 Ks in my life. I'm like freaked out. I'm thinking, oh my word, I'm going to die. We're starting at I think we were starting at 2 a.m. in the morning. You had to go like the doozy route, slipping along the shore and then cross rivers and stuff. It was epic. But, you know, again, so now I come thinking I must now run. Oh, I so learned what running and community is all about.
Yeah.
These people, if anything got sore during that event, was my cheekbones from laughing so much. Oh,
sure,
man, it was awesome. What you ran together. You didn't like everyone, some of the people. And we had these people supporting us. You go through the Valley of 1,000 Hills, and then the spouse is like, stop and we'll have a hamburger roll or something. And then you run again. And the one guy, he was running next to me, this guy Allen, he owns a bar cup. He'll run, what did he say? His pants off. This is during the run. I say to him, okay, guy, that's cool, that's fine. Okay, I'll do that. So but I've got a training bra on, obviously. So I take my top off, but I've still got obviously the training bra on. So I say, okay, well, you've got to take your pants off. So he's running down the road in his jocks. And then finally, because what we would do is we were raising money. So I want to get to the philanthropy side of things. But anyway, we were going to go and visit nursery schools because we were raising money. We raised 100,000 Rand for educational toys for the schools in the Valley of 1,000 Hills. Then finally had to obviously put them on because we didn't think that would go down that well at the schools. Where that was a key run for me is, first of all, I didn't realize that us as humans, you can just keep running forever. And I was fine. It really wasn't that much of a problem to run 120 Ks. I really didn't think I was going to be able to do that. And it was no problem. But besides that, there were only, I think, 20 athletes that did this. And amongst us 20 people, we raised 100,000 Rand.
Wow. So
we so there was this whole community thing. But that's when I realized that, and since then, so with Sabrina Love, now with this 3 Peaks, I just raised money for Bible distribution globally. With Paddleclip Gorge, we raised R1 million in one day.
Wow.
And I've done that for many, many. It's so nice where, I was just chatting to the community the other day when I was asking people if they wouldn't mind supporting this 3 Peaks challenge. And I said to them, for all of us, I maybe financially am not that secure in the sense that I can just support a charity in a very big way, but I've obviously been blessed maybe with my physical ability, and then obviously I'm personally in touch with a lot of wealthy businessmen, so that's what happens, that they can support you. So that was a really, really, really key race for me. And then also just other ones are things like Paddleclip Gorge, where the Table Mountain Challenge, excuse me, let me rephrase. But when you go and do that, it's not about yourself because we're doing it for a charity. So obviously you do as many laps as you can from dawn to dusk. But as you're going past people and you're lapping them, and it's so much about community and everyone cheers you on. Even the 3 Peaks, when you go and doing out and backs, because obviously hitting the summits and coming back down, everyone's cheering you on. And I love those sorts of events where you have that. Often I've found you get other races where they're almost like a bit of an aggressive, it's that whole thing where we're getting back to starting and stepping into the chute. And you're so pumped up and you're so amped and you barely you run into someone, you say, but I can't talk now because I need to warm up. And you'd be so intense, and someone wants to do an interview and you're like, oh, can't we talk afterwards? Because it's not like that at all, and I don't enjoy those things.
Yeah,
it's not what it's about. Yeah, it's not about you.
What about your experience at UTCT? How has that kind of evolved through the years, and do you have any kind of memorable moments there?
Absolutely. So by the time I got to the UTCT, I did the first 200 Ks, the inaugural ones, right back in the day, probably 10 more than years ago. And what was great is I got to get to know Nick and Stuart quite well because I'd go to all the recce runs. And again, actually I'm meeting up with a friend of mine tomorrow. He's doing the 100K. And I would have never met him if I hadn't gone to one of those recce runs. So, again, you get to know that whole community because I think it's quite sad for people that do races like UTCT that don't go and participate in the recce runs and go and connect with people. And so we used to go and do a lot of those now. Like he actually asked me today, he said, don't I want to come then, cliff to cliff, and it's 22 Ks. And then I looked at the route and I said to him, geez, sure no, man, I did last weekend. I've just got out of injury. I'm not going to go and do that to myself again now. But, I think that's what was so key when they especially were starting to get the race together. I remember running a lot of times with Nick, and he had done a few 100Ks in China and different races, and we were discussing things like the limited time at water points and all of that. And what I love about the UTCT 100K is my husband. So I run with a spot tracker. Anyone that knows me knows I don't ever not have a tracker on my shoulder. So my husband struggles with anxiety and he needs to know that I'm safe. Okay. And what's great about that particular race is every 10Ks just about, you're almost checking it at different water points. So it's really spectator friendly. But all of the different, so I think the only one I haven't done is the 35, which is actually the one that I would really like the most. Yeah. So when I was injured previously, I did the 22, I've done the 55, I've done the 60 prior to the 55, I've done the 100 twice. So it's a very special race. They really got it down as far as, that's the thing. Nick and Stuart, they would, during the recce runs, they would try and determine exactly how to do their markings. And they'd realize, we can't put it high up in this race and people, and it's nighttime and we have to put these. So they would continue to ask us as athletes for feedback. So I think they've invested a lot. They really, it's so nice to see how it's bloomed and how it's grown because, as I said, I was there with Nicolette Crivune in I think it was, I don't even know, it must have been 2014 or something when we did it. And then I went back and then it was with Kerry Ann. It's a very special race. So now I'm not participating, but as I said, I'm going to go and support. And because I don't ever not go through. Last year, I trained, it was the year prior to that, I trained this German guy and he had no idea what it was all about. He had a cycling friend from Germany that wanted to accompany him for the 35K on the bicycle. And I remember sitting, we were at the rugby fields and we were waiting for this client of mine to come in. And the German guy was with me and I showed him Vladislav Gorge and I said to him, you can't cycle this route and participate and support your friend because obviously in Germany, I guess you can. Yeah. And I said, no, we actually run the mountains here. He went up there this morning. Yeah. So, no, we've got a special little place and a special community here.
What advice would you kind of give to people starting out in the sport?
I see. Okay, so you heard that I run with my spot tracker, and there's lots of aspects to discuss. But something I'm 100% going to just immediately go straight into is safety. I run here in Stellenbosch. I was running with Shawnee when I was training. She's obviously training for UTCT, and I was training for 3 Peaks. And we would go and do these master repeats over here in Stellenbosch. We'd run past girls alone without a single pack, nothing. And I just think, really, that's just, please then don't wonder. I'm sorry. You just need to be responsible in life. So I have a very, very basic little, my packs line right here because I was running this morning in York Talk. But I have the most basic little medical kit and it's got everything that you could dream of in it. And it's just so compact. And I just don't know why people can't have, this is your entire emergency kits. If I go compulsory pack, if for UTC for any race, like Otter, and they're very intense, you have to lay all your stuff out and everything. It fits. It's just so sorry. Let me not get too carried away on that. But I've been on a golf estate where there were hundreds of people around, thousands if not, and someone literally snapped their ankle, and I was alone and I didn't have a phone. Sure. And that person's safety was we were so far away from anyone else and I had to leave it there. And ever since that thing happened to me, I've never, ever, ever, ever not run with a phone ever again. I often train at dissolves or whatever. and I will always have a phone with me. So let me not, as I said, run with that too much. But safety is key. You know, you can't just take for granted that so it's not about someone necessarily attacking. You can easily just, okay. And then let me not continue there. For me, very much so, I'm in Stellenbosch. I'm a woman, and my husband, as I mentioned, struggles with anxiety. And besides that, I wouldn't necessarily go, obviously, running around alone in the mountains. So for me, very much about community and getting connected with fellow athletes. So what's so awesome is, like, even they had this full send event, and then each area or little community were hosting different peaks, and you get to go and run different areas. But if I didn't have, I so often say, so I'm part of this of Study Shakeout here in Stellenbosch, and I always say it's like a lifeline for me. I tell you, if I didn't run there, first of all, obviously get to go run on Thursday, and I can run at different speeds. So, that's what's so nice about having like community, is they normally have a sweep and lead, but then when you're there, you get to meet a whole lot of other people that you would have never met. And then they say, oh, I'm doing this on Saturday, or oh, I'm doing that. And then you go, oh. So I think for any athlete, it's obviously really important. And then it's nice to have that community, so that when you, let's say, doing UTCT and you come through a water point and someone else is seconding someone else, but they see you, they obviously know you, they're going to clap for you, they're going to like cheer you on, can help you. So, I think that's really important. And then obviously if people obviously race, and I don't want to have to go through this whole thing, but I'm sure people realize you don't try something new on race day. So, that's where you can obviously just need to practice your nutrition. You need to check out your gear. But I'm not going to continue with all of that. I'm sure that would bore anyone listening to this. I think we all know that by now. Definitely community is key. And don't isolate yourself, because, the thing is also, what I tend to see is sometimes people that might be sponsored athletes with this, I don't know what the story is, but sometimes they're like, I don't know if they think that they're just too good to come and like interact with the community, or I don't know what that, what's that all about?
Yeah.
Not that at all that I'm just saying, like, that's what running's about. Is it's not meant to be a solo sport. Yeah, it is, but I'm just saying, like, maybe extend yourself a little bit and just, be approachable, something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Looking back, what are the kind of the top 3 kind of lessons you've learned from your trail running journey?
Okay, number 1, listen to your body. So this is the freshest one in my brain right now. Sure. This one was a very hard lesson to learn, hey? Because I was talking about things like the valley run, and I've always been able to run 100 Ks. I'm not saying it's just obviously train, but I've always been that person. That it's not a problem. Distance has never been an issue for me. After that valley run, really, we did like 100-mile charity run, and like distance has been okay. And then I turned 50, 18 months ago, and my last year, I had this thing. My farewell to trail running and the hot pants and the whole shebang was going to be my 50th year. I planned my race calendar the year, like when I was 40. Yeah. So when was it? So 2022 was going to be my like big year. Now I'm leaving, and so I had all my races planned. But again, this whole ego thing. So now I'm 50. I'm not even a veteran, and now I'm master. And I still want to try and podium in the open category. This is like a thing for me. And I've got my races planned. And off I go, and I do African X, and I was very chuffed. We managed podium, open, things are going well. I go off and do this like little walkabout stream, fine, podiuming. Now I've got my George Mutt coming up, 60K. I was going to do the Maxi 75, and I was going to do UTCT 100. This was like my year, all built up, planned. And so now I'm training. All my other races have gone well so far. Now George Mutt comes along. And I went up Stellenbosch Mountain with this German guy that took up when he did the 35K. So now we both have convinced him he's doing George Mutt. We're traveling through, booked accommodation. We all, like, there's a whole lot of friends of us going. We're coming down Stellenbosch Mountain, and I said to him, listen, I need to practice my downhills. I need to build up my confidence. I'm going to try and push really hard. Anyway, running. The one section, we almost at the end, as it always is, you know, when you just lose that concentration, that very split second, as you're thinking, like, I'd run this Mars section a few hundred times in my life, and I nicked my foot on a gum pole, but I went flying because now I was going at speed, and I went, and so they're big steps, and I flew like a bullet through the air, landed on my shoulder, and I literally physically face planted. Like, my face was literally on the ground. I could not, because I dislocated my shoulder. I thought I broke it. I thought I broke my arm. I'm lying flat, just flat on the ground. And this German guy's coming up behind me, and he thought I was doing push-ups on the floor because I kept shouting it and saying, "Come on, you're taking too long. We need to run faster." So he comes up to me and I go, "Yeah, I can't move. Anyway, he has his dogs, leave with him, he ties me up. Anyway, we go off to Mediclinic, long story, dislocated shoulder. I've never done something like this in my trail, like, life. And so now, but I'm still wanting to do George Mutt. So this is when you flip and, I don't know, a koppig of note. So my husband says to me, I remember it was an Easter Monday this happened. My husband says, if I can run 40 Ks by Friday, 40 Ks, I can do George Mutt. I go to this physio, and he says to me, I say to him, can I run with like a sling or something? He says, no, as long as I don't fall, it should be okay. So I go off to dissolve. This is the kinds of things I do. I go and work out a 10K route. I'm going to run it 4 times, and I'm going to set up my own little water point. I just have to run on a smooth section so I don't trip and fall and re-injure my shoulder. So I'm running these bloody loops, but I mean, obviously not running comfortably. Obviously my line was completely out. I'm like screwed. But no, I am doing George Mutt because, you know, I can do this thing. Anyway, I got to I think I did about 30 Ks yesterday, but it was not going well. Anyway, and I think I tapped out. And then I kept thinking, no, I'll be fine. And then I kept convincing my husband, no, I'll be okay. And finally, I remember doing a run with guys from Study Shaker. They were also preparing for George Mutt, this guy, Wade and Moves. We went up Stellenbosch Mountain, but we had to do like a 1,500 meter elevation. So you had to, we started in the cold, and my ankle was not lacquer, and there was a lot of issues, but I was fine. I was going to make it. We go to the top of Stellenbosch Mountain, and it was snowing at the top there. I struggled with the cold. And I kept thinking, I'm going to die. We have to come halfway down, turn around and go back up again. And they thought, no, I'm surely going to say, no, I'm going to go home now, like halfway. No, I just turned around and went with him again.
Oh, geez.
By that evening, I was limping around. I'm pushing my husband in his wheelchair. We go to like a show, and I can barely walk. But I'm running with my friend the next day, which I do.
Oh, no.
And you know what? And like when you talk about hardcore, I brought my own injury upon myself. And I was literally, because of me being so stubborn of not giving my body the opportunity to like rest and recover, and I was so focused on my race calendar, my race schedule, that I literally for 18 months, like I was in a moon boot at the stage. I went for like, I can't explain to you my journey of trying to find out it was actually my back. It was not my heel. Sure. Because my back seized up so much, and it like, anyway, it's a strangling my sciatica. But so that's definitely lesson 1. When I saw Merckx on Thursday, I said to him, "What's this? We're wearing casual clothes. Why aren't you joining us?" And he said, "No, he's injured his knee." But he said, and he went to support 3 Peaks, and he ran 30 Ks on this injured knee, and he ran on Sunday another 40 Ks, and he said, and now I'm properly injured. And I said to Merckx, ooh, you don't understand.
Yeah.
So lesson 1 for anyone out there, you know what? Just rather arrive at the shoot underprepared and undertrained, and at least run than overtrain. I'm on the overtraining front, and then I think I'm speaking to every single person out there right now.
Yeah.
So I know. It's a reality in my life. It was very sad. Okay, so let me think of some other things that you said. You said 3 key. What were they specifically? Sorry, you can see
lessons.
Other bird stories like in a big way.
No, it's all good. Like lessons that you've learned.
Oh, this is a very important one. Is definitely having a support crew or having people in your corner.
Yeah.
Especially 100,000%. If you're going to do a long run, obviously you don't need someone like Eddie, which 20K little vineyard run. I went to do 3 peaks now, and I had someone run with me because Marcus was worried about me running alone, and he didn't want me to run in through Cape Town alone in the streets. He wants like a male presence to just be with me, especially very much because also he's in a wheelchair. I can't. I've had many situations where I can't often focus on my own race because I'm concerned about him. So the key factor for me is always having a support crew. Not so in my situation, obviously other runners don't have this, but almost to support Marcus as well as me. But like when you're doing UTCT or something, I have never, I totally take my hat off to those people that actually arrive and do it on their own, like on their own steam. But like all my question is, why would you do that? Why? Yeah. I've had the most incredible support crews. I remember my very first year of doing UTCT. My friend came to support me. They were making egg and bacon samis because I often eat egg and bacon samis at like certain water points and things. I like to eat actual like real food. And I remember lying there on the Friday night with my legs. They said, no, you lie with your legs up. I was lying with my legs up on the wall. They were making my food and all my food for my water points. And I've obviously learned that, you waste a lot of time at water points. I'm very efficient at water points. I'm like a flippin' Grand Prix. Like I fly in there and I'm out of there. I practice it. I literally do not give myself more than 60 seconds. I have a 60-second turn run in out. I have to, like, even if I'm running, still stuffing my bladder into my pack or whatever, 60 seconds max at a water point, because that's obviously where you lose time. I just don't know who on earth would attempt to go and do like a big, proper epic race. So even this 35K, I've got a friend that's doing it, and I'm going to go and support him. And I only see one, so I only see him at UCT. But if he needs anything, like this German guy, when he came along, oh my word, he was in such a bad shape. And I said to him, okay, go vomit, get it out, sort it out. And then I said, you will not leave without eating this. I made him change his shirts. I sorted him out. By the time he left his last 10Ks, he ran a really good 10K because he replenished, he sorted himself out. And if he had just carried on trying to go blockhouse the way he was looking, he would never have made the end. Yeah. I also think that what's very, very important is every single athlete should second another person at some stage in their lives.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever always expect people to be there for you. And then, that's very important. You need to know what it feels like, how nerve-wracking it is for you to flip and sit there looking at the watch thinking, oh, they're coming, and you're so ready with your stuff because you can't not be ready, So definitely support crew is a very, very important thing. Oh, and then how could we? So besides me talking about listen to your body, and the support crew is definitely, as I've gotten older, the giving back to your body and recovery and replenishing and cross-training. So I remember my very first, I did this 5-day, 250K run. Oh, gee, it was a disaster. And I got ITB and I got pulled out. And that's when I started doing yoga. And that was probably 12 years ago, because people were telling me, no, you can go under the knife and you can have a surgery done to fix it. And I thought, but no, I like running, but I'm not going to go for surgery. And I started realizing you need to stretch and give back to your body and actually foam roll and do strength and glute firing exercises and all this stuff. And so the sad thing is now that I sometimes, if you look at my running time, my recovery time, it's on about a 50-50 at this stage.
Sure.
It's the only way I can keep it together.
Yeah.
It never used to be that way, but as you get older, you have to invest a lot more to be able to actually arrive and run. So cross-training is crucial. And I know it takes quite a bit of time, but obviously anything like strength, swimming, yoga, stretching, anything. I mean, people obviously can look into that. So that's for sure very, very important.
Amazing. This was great. Thank you. I like.
It's more than a pleasure. Sorry, Dean. I know that I ramble off in directions for a very long time.
It was very entertaining. So thank you very much.
Okay, anytime. No, not a problem.
Feeling fired up after this incredible episode? Dive deeper into the world of trail running by exploring our other episodes, available wherever you get your podcasts. We're eagerly awaiting your feedback as well, so connect with us on Instagram @TrailChasersPod. Don't hold back. Like, comment, message, and share your thoughts. Until next week, keep chasing those trails.